everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
Story time of how a client forgot to tell me that she was unalived after having surgery in Mexico. Part 1. So this was early in my entrepreneurial business journey. Everybody knows that phase, right? You want all the clients. It don't matter who comes to you. You want them. Give me here. I need the money. I need the money. I need the money. I need the growth. All right. So this was a weekend. Let's say it was a Friday. I was actually at home doing some back office work. I get a text message from someone saying they want to book a service. I'm like, yippee, come on, let's go. So I say, well, tell me a little bit about what's going on. You know, what surgery did you have? Y'all know I always start off with that. So she tells me she just had a lipo and BBL and arm lipo, and she is ready to start her massages. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm doing what I do, texting the regular info, trying to set up a date, trying to set up a time. I'm actually trying to see her today because I'm trying to grow my business. While I'm in the midst of texting her, I get a text message back saying she's in a hospital right now. I hope that's not a problem. Excuse me? So when she said she, I'm like, so the patient or the client is not even texting me, it's somebody else. So I'm like, okay. And then before I could even ask my next question, seeing I was about to ask, what is she in the hospital for? The response comes again, the message comes through, and she goes, complications unrelated to surgery. First of all, you can't tell me that. I don't think she realized I was a nurse, not alone a nurse, but an ER nurse. Anytime you go in to the hospital after having a cosmetic surgery, it's definitely related to the surgery. But I go for it and I got time. Okay, so tell me what's going on. She goes, well, her potassium is really high. I said, her potassium is really high. Well, what is her potassium level? She tells me it's an 8. What does that mean, nurses? What does that mean, nurses? When it comes to critical care and prioritizing who's serious and who's not. Let me tell you. So if somebody's potassium is greater than a 6, they're going to be in what ICU. Not just a regular medical floor, but an intensive care unit. So now I'm like, how in the world is your potassium a 8? And you're telling me that it's complications unrelated to surgery, and you're trying to make it seem like it's not serious. So I said, bump the text, and I'm finna call this girl. I'm finna call whoever I'm talking to. So I'm like, hey, I said, first off, who am I talking to? And she goes, well, I'm her cousin, but I'm here with her. I'm like, okay, cool. So tell me what's going on. She's like, well, she had a high potassium and an elevated sodium. And I was like, yeah, so she's in ICU. I cut her off. She was like, yeah, she is. And she was like, but I talked to the charge nurse on the floor, and she said it was okay for you to come up here and do her massages. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm hungry, but I ain't starving. Like, I'm not about to risk my life, my license, and my livelihood to come and touch on her up there. I had to explain to her, hey, just because I'm a nurse, I can't just bop up at anybody's facility and start doing services. There has to be an arrangement. There has to be a contractual agreement. I said, if she's in the hospital and it's fairly quickly after surgery, then that means she probably needs to stay there. It's in her best interest. I'm always medical first. We will deal with the aftercome or the after later, meaning the massages. That is not as important as your lab work being out of whack or you having a major complication. So I pretty much told the family member, listen, I'm willing to see her, but let's make sure she's actually medically cleared. Meaning, let's make sure that everything is okay for her to be discharged. I said, as soon as she's discharged from the hospital, then, I'll come and check on her. I'll do a nurse assessment, and then we'll move forward to see if it's in our best interest for me to massage her. She goes, okay. She thanked me. She was like, I understand that. Yeah, that's no problem. Okay. All right. I'll let you know. I said, all right. So I hang up the phone and I'm like, oh my God, like she's in the ICU. Something is wrong. Something is serious wrong. I was apprehensive, but yet curious because I'm an ER nurse. So I'm just like, tell me more. So thinking that's over with, it's going to be a couple of days. The very next day, not even 24 hours later, the cousin texts me early in the morning. She's been discharged. Can you come see her today? I'm thinking in my mind, you was just in ICU yesterday. and you said your potassium was 8. I know you're not ready enough to be discharged. So this is fairly weird to me that, and what a coincidence that I said the only way I can see you and start your massages is if you are discharged. So I'm like, okay, against my better judgment, I was like, all right, I'll come see her. Y'all will not believe what I went into, what I was told. So y'all know when we left off, I was speaking to a family member who said her the client was in the hospital, wanted massages, and had complications unrelated to surgery. However, we know that's not the case. So she said her potassium was 8, which means she was in ICU. Potassium is very important electrolyte in your body because it works on the contractility of the heart. Fun fact, when somebody is on death row and they're getting a lethal injection, a very, very high dose of potassium is one of the things that they use to. All right. So I'm like, all right, okay, you got to get this handled before I can see you. So you got to be medically cleared and discharged. What a coincidence. The very next day, she says she's discharged. Can you come see her? I go over there and she does not look good. And I don't mean that in a sense of her body's messed up. She just physically does not look well. And so, I'm trying to be nice and get a better understanding. I definitely want to help her. And again, I'm new, at this, and I'm an ER nurse. So I'm like, okay, there's nothing I can handle, right? So I have her fill out the consent forms, and I'm like, so tell me about like what led you to be in the hospital. What happened? She goes, well, I had surgery. I had a lipo and BBL, and I got my teeth done in Tijuana, red flag number 1. And on the way back, I missed my dialysis. Y'all do know this is what a medical clearance for in the United States, right? Like you have to get the lab work, the EKG, and the urine for a reason to make sure that you are physically fit and healthy and strong enough to have an elective cosmetic procedure. Okay. So a lot of times when people go out of the country, this is why, because they don't do as much as we do in the US as far as follow through to make sure that this is healthy for you to do. And I'm like, you missed dialysis? I was like, how did you even get cleared? Not in my head. I'm like, this doesn't even make sense. She's like, oh, well, they don't do all that over there. I'm like, oh, okay. So she continues to get undressed and I'm setting up and she just is in more pain than what I would expect to see somebody. Like, it's okay to be achy, but I mean every little move, like she was about to pass out. And I'm like, so I was like, the surgery, it's really hurting you pretty bad, huh? And she goes, yeah. And then she kind of thinks and she goes, well, they had to do CPR on me. So you mean to tell me you were in ICU, died, and left just so you can get a massage? I said, what do you mean they had to do CPR on you? She goes, yeah, my heart stopped when they tried to do my dialysis when I got back. And she's like, it stopped twice. I said, so you went into cardiac arrest twice? She was like, yeah, I did. But they got me back though. And then eventually I was able to finish my dialysis. Y'all, her whole chest was black and blue up here. Like, I mean, and it looked caved in. I could tell that had been done. So now I'm thinking in my head, what else is wrong with you? Because I mean, your couple of ribs are broken. You might have trouble breathing afterwards. And I'm just like, how did you get cleared for the surgery? Like that still was in my head. And then she wants a massage. And then the other thing that clicked in my head was, do you pee? So I interrupt her. I forgot what we was talking about this one. I'm like, do you still pee? She goes, no. So where's the fluid going? If I'm massaging you and the purpose is what? To move the fluid back into the lymphatic system so you can urinate it out and it can excrete the normal way. Well, if you don't have that follow through output, for me to even allow that to happen, then what's going to happen? I can massage it all the way up to your heart and it gets stuck and then your heart stops again. Like I got all this stuff going in my head and she had these drains, but y'all, when I say it was pure blood coming out of her drains, pure blood coming out of her drains. I could not believe I was up in this lady's house. I'm like, she's going to die right here today. Excuse me, Lord. And what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I looked at her. I was like, listen, I'm not going to massage you. I'm going to kind of do like a nurse assessment, try to get you a little bit more comfortable. Everything was swollen from wherever you could think of. She was swollen from head to toe. And I told her, I was like, listen, you're going to have to let your doctors know, because of course she didn't tell her doctors over here the dumb ish that she did. I said, you're going to have to let them know that you went out of the country to have surgery and you need this fluid taken off of you, because now the only way that can be done is if you give dialysis. I was like, what I could do is not going to help you. I said, I could possibly make the situation worse. I need you to love yourself enough to know that this is not enough. Like that's when I say she wanted to throw all type of money. She was throwing bands at me. Or what if I pay you this? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, ma'am, that's not worth my license. It's not worth your life. It's not worth me getting you right to look good in a casket. Like, this is crazy. So in any event, what I had to do was pretty much just discontinue any type of communication or service from her. I'm like, you're not let me know what's going on, but understand, like, it's not safe for me to touch you. She reached out to her nephrologist, and they were able to pull, she said, 20 pounds of fluid off. And she was trying to know when we could get back started again. But I've pretty much told her that, like, I will never, ever, ever touch you again, because you really had me messed up and you really played with your life. And I should have never been over there in the first place. So my lesson learned is all money ain't good money. It don't matter how far fast you want to grow. You still need to use your brain and think and keep the foundation integrity of your business. And speaking of that, surgery world is very small, especially for providers in the area. So it was brought to my attention some time past that same client went to somebody else and gave us the same type of story. But in the end, she said that I left her destitute and that I did not care about her at all. And I left her without any way to be taken care of. Left out all the fact that you lied. You didn't tell me the truth. You shouldn't have had the surgery in the first place. And you worried about the wrong thing. So that is my story. And I hope that you guys can learn something from this. Medical clearance is for a reason. Okay. It's not to harm you, not to hurt you, not to make it so that you can't have the surgery. Honestly, if you're not cleared, then take it as a blessing. Like, nothing is worth your life. This is coming from somebody who does this. Getting surgery is not worth you being unalived. And I'm going to always stand for you being healthy and safe first. All right.
What to do, everyday people, man? It's your boy PJ. Today we back with another lit video. Back in the confessional, and yes, we staying lit, big dog. Shout out to my everyday people, man. Get it lit, man. Thank you, love Jaquay, man. I'm thinking we got, man, we got a new Twitch subscriber. I appreciate it, man. This is where it's lit at. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you. We do need more people that care. Thank you. Thank you. Because we appreciate this nurse. This nurse went all out. Like, and she stood on business. Like, you know what? And I was thinking, I was like, this is going to end bad. Not for the nurse, but for the woman. I was thinking that she was going to say, later on down the line, she saw this woman dead because she didn't want to be honest with her surgery. And a new body before a new kidney is crazy. That's crazy. I mean, dialysis. Yo, I used to work with somebody who used to get on dialysis, and that was, I mean, he only worked 3 days a week, and I dealt with a lot of people who had to be on dialysis, and I know that's draining enough of a person's energy. But if you're on dialysis, hip dialysis, surgery, and you don't even schedule a dialysis to wherever you're going, is crazy. Because I know people who go on vacations, they have to schedule dialysis wherever they're going on vacation to. Crazy. The more and more we get into these BBL stories, it just ain't worth it. It's not worth it, people. The things that these people are going through. I don't know if I should tell this story. It's his girl. I ain't gonna lie, man. She's a pretty girl, but she had like I seen the money. I seen the money. She had like $35,000 go get her body done in America. In America, not in Mexico, not in nowhere else. She was about to spend that bread. She was trying to look snatched, but she couldn't pass the medical. I was like, yeah, pay for a personal trainer. Like, if you pay for a personal trainer, then she was like, but then I won't have enough. But I was like, damn, pay for a personal trainer, then go get the cheaper option. Like, at least you'll be healthier and know you got what you wanted. Because it's women that go out of the country to get it done right, but they go out the country to get it done without fitting the criteria that you need for America. But if you fit the criteria, you'll look better because the ones who do get it done and they fit the criteria, they do look better and they survive. And I just didn't see like she went to, man, she went to so many doctor's appointments. I was like, and then she was like, this doctor ain't giving me the results that I need. I'm gonna switch doctors. I'm like, which doctors? What are you doing? You trying to pay these people off? Like, what? That's crazy. Trying to pay these people off? Crazy. But she had the money to do it. I don't know if she did it. Who knows?